Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful day. It's just sunny, and yeah, there are clouds. And I'm here and I'm sitting, and even as I am about to think and I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, it's so hot. And it's per usual, God, here it is, a cloud comes, cover over the intensity of the sun, and I'm able to sit out in the open and still talk to you guys. I'm sometimes just in awe of the way God takes care of us on that intimate level. Listen to a song. I don't think it's a fully Christian song. It's one of those what we call rock songs that have had the album for like decades, eons ago. But there's a line in it that says, "Fallen even more in love with you, letting go of all I held on to." Sometimes we get caught up in all the big things that we want God to do for us. We want a house and a vehicle and a career switch and all these different things. And yeah, but I like to oftentimes just release all of that and stop and think of the other little things that God does. When you're falling in love, for those of us who have had that privilege, you're intrigued by every little thing. They smile the way, some little movement, when they smile, there's some little twitch that happens here. How many teeth come out if they smile with all the teeth outside or just a couple. And, the little tiny things you notice about this person. Yes, you'd say, okay, he's handsome or she's beautiful, but they're just some tiny little things that everybody wouldn't see that you would see and you would know. And that's what intimacy does. And I want to encourage us to pursue intimacy with God on the level that those little things that He does, we know. Like here I am walking on a bright sunny day, but I'm shaded. There's a cloud over the sun that's allowing me to walk without having to continuously squint my eyes. Like how sometimes I'm a bit, looking at my time and wondering, if I'm going to get to a certain place. And then there are policemen on the road, and sometimes they confuse the traffic. But this day, in my honor, all of them are saying go at the same time just so I can get to where I can go. There's so many little things, your child walks up and and just say, "Hey mommy, I love you," or "Hi, where are you, I miss you." Some little things. And I want us to just zero in on that intimacy with God. Those are the times that take you through when the big things come, because you remember that if this God could be so caring to me that the tiny things about myself He takes care of and He looks into, then it's like, yeah, I can trust Him in the big things. It builds your faith to trust Him in the big things. And so that's what I want to remind us today. Pursue intimacy, intimate moments with Him. Times when there's a verse that comes up at just the right time, that's totally what you need to hear. Times when somebody passes with a song that says a word of encouragement just when you're beginning to feel like, hey, I'm having that kind of a day. So I want to encourage us as we go into today. Remember to keep falling in love with Jesus, to keep falling in love with His provision, with the awesomeness of who He is. And remember that He is for you, He loves you. Ephesians, I'm falling in love back with the book of Ephesians right now, and all the amazing truths, that we are chosen, that God predestined us for His goodness and His faithfulness in our lives, to be recipients of His grace and His mercy. Like, I'm just in awe of being reminded of these things as I go through them again. It's a book that I go back to from time to time because of just how important it is. It's amazing truths. I encourage you guys to read Ephesians and read it slow. Allow the Holy Spirit to just minister to you as you go through it slowly, and let those things sink in. So in times further on, they can come back to you and they can remind you when you start feeling like, I don't belong to anybody. Remind that you've been adopted by God. This is a predestined plan. When you start feeling like, oh gosh, I'm not sure if I'm okay, if I measure up to standards, you'll be reminded you're His masterpiece. He is working all these things out for you. And remember that even then they prayed, and their prayer included you. Like, hey, God is just awesome. So yeah, right now I'm falling back in love with him even more. Falling even more in love with you and letting go of all the things I held on to, all those little inhibitions and fears and oh gosh, I'm not so sure. Like, yeah. Become very sure that God is for you, that He's your God, and He loves you. And I do too. Be blessed, guys.